This is TNA, the new face of professional wrestling.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inspired Podcast. I am Brian. Melanie, my wife.
Hello.
And we will be doing the August 14th show for TNA pay-per-view. Anyways, I think today's show was the show I realized that there's a ton of guys on this program. I have no idea if they're supposed to be guys or bad guys. You know what I mean?
Honestly, the people I think are good guys are actually not guys.
Well, you got AJ Styles and Jarrett Lynn are both just kind of being assholes. Got Jeff Jarrett, Brian Lawler, Truth. All of them are leaning towards being bad guys, but they're also being set up in ways that would be more traditional for a good guy. I don't know. It's just weird. But yeah, let's get into the show. All right, so we get a recap of Truth winning the World Championship. I noted that the way they cut this whole thing made the entire win feel completely underwhelming. So I don't know. Anyways, Truth comes out for the opening segment, says the asylum is his house.
Actually, this is the one who names it.
Well, yeah, but he says it's his house. Like this is my territory, sort of thing. This is where I'm going to be a big name.
Yeah.
All right. He came here a bitter man, unsure if he would ever get opportunities. He keeps talking about being held down in WWF all at the same time while The Rock was getting pushes. It was weird. Calls himself a legend. Eventually, though, we get Jeff Jarrett coming out, interrupting, and he basically almost repeats everything he said the week before. And is just basically saying, hey, I want the belt, I want my chance, I want my opportunity that I've never been given, that I deserve. Anyways, Truth basically accepts this challenge. So it looks like they're ready to go at it right here and now until the vice president, TNA, or not TNA, the NWA vice president comes out. I don't remember his name. I know this just feels weird because it seems like we just keep on having shifting authority figures. We had the president, we have Ricky Steamboat with the vice president. I know Vince Russo becomes the authority figure real soon. So they're having no consistent authority figure really throws things off to me. And I think they need to figure that out and sort that out just so that we can have that consistency. Because at this point, it feels chaotic. It feels just bad. Just to have someone different coming out every couple of weeks to be the person that's in. I noted that Jeff Jarrett kept laughing at the guy because his comments and jokes and delivery was just so terrible. So I can't wait for him to not be the authority figure anymore. But basically tells Jarrett that they won't sanction a match. They won't let any match that those two have be a title match. And then at the end of the segment, Lawler comes out of nowhere and jumps Jeff Jarrett. And I don't know, he's screaming about,
You know what?
I know it was you. Nobody does that to me. At some point, he tries to go get a chair out of the audience, and the fan just will not let go of it. To the point where the security had to step in and basically separate the two.
It's his chair.
And this broke down into just a brawl between Jarrett and Lawler. I don't know. It feels like the same 20-minute opening segment you get on a Raw for the past 10 years. It's not horrible, but it's a lot all in one go. Because set up the whole Truth setting himself up, Jarrett Jarrett continuing his thing about being held back. Their little rivalry, then Jarrett's rivalry with the authority figures, and then Lawler as well. Not to mention, we also have the tag team title match tonight. That's just a lot in one segment.
A lot, and it's really.
Doesn't need to be.
No, it doesn't.
Just simplify some of these storylines. It's really all you need to do.
Some of the storylines don't even need to be existing.
You can say that all the time though. If you wanted to take this as a legitimate competition, the storylines wouldn't exist really at all almost. Part of the draw is the drama.
I understand. Soap opera.
No one denies this.
You're allowed to like.
All right. First match of the night, and least legitimate match, I consider. Kid Cash, Shark Boy, and someone called Slim J, who's basically doing a Eminem, Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady gimmick.
Looks like.
Versus the Spanish announce team. So we get to see them go again. It was really early, athletic back and forth with Cash and one of the Maximos. A lot of arm drags and reverse stuff like that, flipping. Really cool. After moving the outside, Shark Boy had a tie up with the other Maximo in the ring. They managed to dive the outside. Slim J and Amazing Red have their own tie up in the ring. This is not involving any tags. It's just trading out, partners in the rings to have a moment to do some moves with each other. Eventually, they all do a repeated dives to the outside until all 6 of them have been onto a pile, or out there in a pile. Eventually, order's restored. We see Slim J in the torture rack and get stomped by the 2 teammates. We also got to see a really cool spot where Shark Boy and Slim J were on top of one another, both in separate submissions. It was kind of funny. I noted that Slim J keeps grabbing his crotch and fondling himself during the match. I found that gross and stupid.
I saw the kid. One thing I did know. One really Kid Rock lookalike.
Kid Cash?
Yeah. Ran up the ropes and then flipped off the top. And I thought that was really cool. I don't know what the move is called, but it was
All right. We got a bunch of move trading and near falls. And the match ends with a Spanish fly, a double Spanish fly from the Maximos, followed by the infrared to give SAT the win. Kind of just like the same moves from the week before that won them the match. I did note Slim J is apparently 17 years old and clearly way too green to be doing this on a pay-per-view sort of professional setting, and he really shouldn't be on television. He needs to be in training. I just noticed that he would not get all completely over from moves and stuff, and it's just not a safe thing to be having in the. All right, go to the back. And all I have written here is, God fucking damn it. So obviously this is the Dups. All I also have to say is that this is bad comedy. I am so sick of this.
not even funny.
Yeah, I know. As I said last week, the only comment, I don't know if I said that on the recording, but I told you last week, the only thing that has happened with them that I have found really funny is Goldilocks' hatred towards them and how she expresses it. And that shouldn't be the only thing that's funny. Because that just means that your little comedy group there, when they're not annoying her and her having a chance to be comical and how much she hates them, they're just annoying and nothing funny's happening. All right, Bruce comes out. I said I was putting a cat through most of this, so I wasn't really paying attention to what's going on. He was saying some shit. Eventually, they challenged his audience member to come in and try to take his Miss TNA title. She's a heavy-set woman. She beats him up. He only wins because he gets a surprise roll and basically grabs her by the pants to get the in victory. And I wrote, this is a waste of time. I really miss Joel Gertner. He was the Joel Gertner was the manager that did the speaking for Bruce and Lenny beforehand.
Oh. Well,
Yeah. As I said, I just want this to end, and I want to go back to just the Rainbow Express with Joel Gertner. To the back! Alright, Jarrett is with Goldilocks. She asks him what's up with Lawler, and Jarrett says he didn't do anything and doesn't know what's going on with Lawler. He makes it clear he's still going after the world title, but he's going to concentrate on the tag titles tonight. But he also then goes into the bathroom and attacks the vice president again. Because Jarrett doesn't do anything else. No, he just comes out, bitches, attacks authority figures, and then bitches some more. That's all Jarrett's been doing.
what else?
Bitch and attack authority figures.
Exactly.
I don't know. Shut up and just have some matches. I guess. Okay, next segment, Dup Cup. Fuck. Sorry, it's just I don't like this. That's it. I'm not. All I have written here is I'm not writing down what happens in this bullshit. Tio wins the cup. Please end my suffering. The only thing of note is that apparently Stand Up is deathly afraid of midgets.
Yeah.
And later we see the Dups again, and I guess apparently Stand Up quit. So maybe this means the Dups are gone.
Ugh.
What did I have that written down? I'm just deleting that part because I covered it.
Delete while you go.
No, I don't generally, but I just said that we have the part. I just said this later. We see Stand Up leave, saying he's done with TNA.
That's
So
where
like,
Bo
who
Dup-
fucking cares? We don't need to talk about it again.
That's where Bo Dup gets off at.
Yeah, whatever. Match 2. I don't consider that or the thing with the audience lady a match. Match 2. Street fight between Elix Skipper and Monty Brown. Huh? Wearing a poncho.
Alpha, he's wearing a freaking poncho. It was a freaking poncho.
I don't agree.
Ugh.
All right. All right. Skipper's the first one out. He actually runs back up for whatever reason. He gets in the ring and then runs back up the ramp to try to wait for bounce on Monty Brown before he comes out. But I should explain this because since there's no like the TNA entrance ramp has two entrances, one on the right and one on the left if you're looking at it. So Skipper goes and stands expecting him to come out the one on the right. I assume that's because he came out of the left. So he's standing there ready, and Brown comes out the left side and gets Skipper from behind. This basically is a very typical hardcore match for the most part. You see trash can stop sign chains being used, some moves, choking each other, stuff like that. We do see that like Monty go for like a crossbody, and Elix does his little matrix dodge. With Monty landing. And probably the worst way he could have landed on the can is long ways because the rims are more or less likely to bend, and that can hit you real hard in like sort of the street. But outside of that, this was mostly just a really safe hardcore match.
I like the fact that Primetime like barely touched the trash can and it like crumpled up. I was like, oh
Yeah, they're aluminum, very thin aluminum. You want them to crumple, actually want to itself.
He practically breathed on it and it like crumpled.
Monty debuted a new. Sorry, I didn't mean. Monty debuted his new signature move. It's called the Alphalution. I think it's a terrible name. I don't even know how to describe it. Fireman's carry into what? Side slam? I don't. It's weird. But he does the Alpha Bomb in the trash can, and Monty Brown wins. I assume that's the end of him and the Skipper. I hope. Or maybe it continues and at the talk about later. I don't know. What do you think? You think it's over? Do you think Elix Skipper is going to screw him next week? I don't know.
I don't understand why Primetime's pissed. Like, super confused.
He apparently feels the same way Truth does, even though now we have proof besides the point that they're not being held down here. So, that's all I can figure. He just figures he's just like Monty. He just feels Monty Brown doesn't understand where they're coming from, and that's basically the gist of the story.
On the bright side, at least, or
You can call him an Uncle Tom.
ugh, I hate that term.
Bruce did. Okay. To the back! We go back to the Flying Elvises. We have Jorge and Yang doing the interview, and Siaki is got his back turned, seeming to not care.
I think it was pee. I thought they were in a bathroom.
I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. He's facing a wall. His face is like half an inch from a wall. So I have no idea what he's doing. He's in timeout. All right. So yeah, Strata and Yang, they're talking about how they were wearing these black armbands to commemorate the death of Elvis, 5-year something. Notice Siaki is doing something, facing away, playing with himself on a phone. I have no fucking idea.
Again.
Eventually he turns around, insults Elvis, and makes the whole thing about him and how the Flying Elvises are all about him. For whatever reason, at this point, I had noticed there is just some clanking or something happening just in the background. And I was fully expecting, because in previous weeks, when you hear weird sounds during a interview, generally they go off to the side and figure out what the hell the sound is, and we find out it's something else that's happening that's story important somewhat. You know what I mean? Like that one time, like she had that interview, and then she just like heard something and wandered down, and she found fucking vice president tied up and going, and, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But no, they're nothing. It's just clanking and weird shit in the background. I'm just like, are they in a Planet Fitness? What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, my favorite thing about that entire, like, Goldie, like, how like, are there mixed feelings about it? And Yang is like, there are some mixed feelings, and he pointedly looked at Egomaniac. Like, yeah, Estrada and I don't want to hurt each other, but we want to hurt Shaw. Like, that's what I got from that.
He gives that impression, but it doesn't really.
It doesn't, and I was like super upset about that.
All right, match 3. I'm sorry. I feel like I keep cutting you off at the.
You do. That time you did. Like, that was.
I'm not trying to. I'm anticipating the end of your. I'm trying to anticipate the end of your comment. I'm jumping.
Yeah, apparently. That's how he treats me. God, no.
It's me trying to keep things
Going.
Match 3, X Division title match. It is a 4-man single elimination. There, 2 in the ring. The other 2 are on the outside. They have to tag to get in. So this favors the Flying Elvises if they were on the same page, because all they have to do is tag themselves in and never, or tag with each other and never tag out Loki, and eventually, likely one of them will take down Loki, and then one of the Elvises gets the title. But that's if they were all on the same page.
Which they're not.
All right. So, anyways, it starts off with Siaki and Loki because, of course, Siaki is like, you two get out of the ring. I'm going to show you how this is done. It does basically start with the Elvises targeting Loki, and they do basically what I say. Even though when Estrada does tag himself in on Siaki, he does it forcefully, smacks him on the back. It's a surprise tag and all that. But he does, he gets some moves in on Loki. He tags out with Yang. He gets some moves in. There's Loki gets a proper back and forth with basically every Elvis. There's no domination happening at this. In fact, I don't think there ever really is a dominant force in the match whatsoever. It's mostly a really strong effort from everyone that's involved. Anyways, Estrada does at one point get a pin that Siaki breaks up, which is dumb. There's no reason to prevent in this sort of match a pin, because unless it's you that's getting pinned, another person getting pinned is always your advantage. The only reason why he did this, and it's obvious, is because his ego is so big, he wants to make sure he gets the pin on Loki. It's basically what he's doing. In the match, Estrada is the first to break the partner line and tag Loki to get himself into the match against Yang. When there's finally a fall, because it's these two up until the first fall, Yang goes to put a Boston Crab on Estrada, and he never even gets it fully in before Estrada's tapping, so I don't know what happened, but it looks like Estrada could have been something. Maybe that's why he went immediately to the back.
Yeah.
So they could look at him. I have no idea if he's hurt, but it was really weird to see them not even get a full move on before he tapped.
Yeah, like, normally, I don't...
Yang does get a very short stint of control over Low Ki before Siaki screws him over and knocks him off the top rope to crotch him. And then Low Ki gets his key crusher on Yang, eliminates him. Then it comes down to Low Ki and Siaki gets the favorite returned to him with a surprise kick to the back of the head from Yang to give Low Ki up in a pin, retain his championship.
In all honesty, I would rather have either Yang or Hosada get it, but, like, I'm glad that Ego...
It just doesn't fit the story they're telling. It makes no sense for the belt to go to one.
It doesn't.
Especially considering he won it just the week before.
I understand that. I was just saying, like, the only one I did not... I was so against him was Ego.
The problem with frequent title changes is it makes it look like looks like your champions have champions that are unable to actually defend their title. It makes the title, so he's got to retain it a few times. You can have a switch sometimes where it's very quick, but it's usually that person is seen as just a paper, ever be considered like actual.
Okay.
It makes them look bad. It hurts their image. We did a pre-recorded video segment with Goldilocks finding Jerry Lynn earlier in the day. They hop into Carter to drive around. He asks them about, how are they going to be in the tag match, and he's just like, it's professional. We'll be on the same page, and we'll get the job done. And then they stop, and he jumps AJ Styles just somewhere in a town somewhere in the U.S.
Bathtub.
Point is, he just finds AJ Styles in the wild and attacks him.
Is he a Pokemon?
No, it's just weird that he just happened to know where AJ was.
Talking him.
I guess. Next segment, Jive Talking. Brings out a guy that kind of looks like he's one of the Baldwin brothers. They call him Dean Baldwin. It's just some random dude. So he's not actually a Baldwin, but he acts like he's, Eventually, this gets interrupted by Lawler. He comes out, takes the mic. He's claiming Jarrett is guilty of something. Unfortunately, before we get really any more in-depth revealing of what actually is going on between Jarrett, the Baldwin dude, takes the mic back and says stupid shit. Because at this point, saying anything to Brian Lawler, who is completely snapped, is stupid shit. And this results in Lawler basically tearing down the set and beating up the Baldwin.
No, his name might actually be...
I doubt it.
Not a Baldwin brother.
I guess it's possible, but I doubt it. Tag titles. Final match of the night. Only 4 matches today, and I guess you could argue there's some quality to these matches, but I don't know. This week feels underwhelming, partly because it wasn't built outside of this one match, and this one match was built at the end of the last. You know what I mean? Well, not end of the last show. I guess it was the middle, because we were told after the Anyways, Jarrett and Truth versus Styles and Lynn. Lynn comes out and gets jumped by the other two before Styles comes out. He actually is fighting them for a little bit before Styles comes. Only like a minute or two, but Styles didn't like rush to get out, and they were playing off the whole idea that maybe Styles was, actually hurt earlier and wasn't even able to make it to the match.
Or that he was pissed off and he did.
All right, they take turns with Lynn being take turns with Styles in the ring with Jarrett, with Styles in control and battling on the outside. They do some things after Styles and Jarrett manage to get to the outside. Lynn and Truth go in and they do the same thing where momentum finally changes after Truth makes Styles and Lynn collide with each other, leaving Lynn mostly at their mercy. At some point, Lynn attempts to use the figure 4 on Jarrett, who immediately flips to turn it against Lynn, so he doesn't even manage to get in the hold and hurt Jarrett for it. Then there are several failing attempts for Lynn to fight back. He does eventually, though, get Styles on the hot tag. Styles has a really, really short period of running wild on all of them. He does get in some team moves with Lynn, but this all results in Styles knocking the ref out, so we get a ref bump. While the referee is knocked out, Lynn actually had twice that he was technically the winner of the match. He had a pin. It would have been a 3 count. No one stopped him. This results in the finish coming when there is a double pin with one member of each team pinning the other member of the other team. The ref comes to just in time as another ref comes out to make the count, and they both count, though each ref counts a different pin. So the pins are simultaneous, and it's a complete wash. There is no winner. And at that point, Bullet Bill comes out. He takes the belts and says, "We're going to make a decision about what this means, but neither of you get in the belts right now."
I wonder if it means probably nobody.
I mean, I already know what's going to happen.
I wonder. Here, you can.
Okay.
They're gonna put Stylist with.
No, I don't think so. I know they vacate the belts and then tag team. None of these.
Oh yeah, you.
All right, so. And after the match is over and the chaos, Bullet Bill lays down the law and puts out some matches for next week. Got Monty Brown versus Truth for the World Championship. There's a number 1 contender match for the X Division title between Lynn and Styles. That it's going to be 2 out of 3 falls. The first fall is no DQ. The second fall is falls count anywhere. And if they get to a third fall, a 10-minute Iron Man match. And then he also says Jarrett is getting a surprise opponent next week, before he steals the belts and tries to run away with the tag belt, saying, basically, I keep getting screwed. I'm taking these.
Screw you guys.
I would cut it here because I don't usually care about the Don West hype segment, even though it makes me nervous every single time because it wins me and makes me wonder when is he going to just fucking die and why he's just yelling.
I am so concerned for him.
He gets like red in the face and spits everywhere. It's so weird.
I'm so worried.
He turns into a rabid dog while he hypes next week.
I'm so worried he's gonna have a heart attack soon.
But as I said, I would normally skip, but the end of the show actually ends going to the back again with Jarrett about to leave, wherein he gets jumped by Lawler again, and the show actually ends with Jarrett being choked and Lawler screaming, "I'm gonna kill you!" And at point I have, with it going to black. If I was just watching this weekly, I'd just be like, "Well, show's over. Jarrett's dead."
Horrible.
I don't know what to say. It literally ends with a guy screaming, "I'm going to kill you," with his hands wrapped around his throat.
I will admit, if I was watching this, not knowing that, someone is having, I would probably have researched it, been like, what's going on?
Just They write Jarrett off for like 2 months. Comes back from the grave later. Really is a soap opera.
Kind of wish they would do that now. Darn it.
They kind of did that with Undertaker and WWE, but
We're not watching WWE though.
okay, well, we'll see what happens here. There is some really entertaining stuff in the. It's not the near future. Like when we get to like Joseph Park Esquire, that stuff's great.
I'm excited about.
I don't remember how long before he shows up for his first stint. Well, I will say, and since we're kind of short compared to most other weeks, September 4th, I think we are just going to do both of us just saying what our top 5 matches are. Each of us will have our own top 5 list. It won't be just combined. But
It'll be interesting.
But that week is a best of the X Division pay-per-view. So it's just a whole bunch of matches we've already seen. So I figured we'll just do that. And instead of letting TNA tell us what they think the best matches are, we'll say what we are.
Interesting. You actually know what you're talking about, and I just like the.
So expect her list to be all X Division matches. Expect my list to be probably mostly still X Division matches, but moving on. Feast or fired, sweetheart?
Oh, I wanted to go 3 for. I can't. It's a fired.
One of the hat trick. I'm on fired too. I don't know.
It was definitely all.
Half of the matches were fucky.
And I'm a little worried.
Yeah, there's that as well. And then okay, 2 matches were kind of just like one had the double pin, so it was a fuck finish. The other one had people screwing over each other, so it was still kind of a fuck finish. The other one was a street fight, so it was a street. Can't give too many. And the other one was the best match of the night. Except for Slim J except for Slim J sucks.
Like I said.
And if Slim J being terrible is the best match of the night, I can't give it I cannot give it a feast.
I want it.
Well, that's it for me. Unless you have anything else to add, sweetheart, I'm gonna stop the recording. All right, like, comment, subscribe, and take care. Keep on wrestling.